The air smelled of roses and jasmine. The choir's soft hymn filled the grand church. Ada felt like a princess as she walked down the aisle, her heart fluttering with excitement. Her parents beamed from the front row, and the smiles of friends and family radiated love. But beneath the beauty and ceremony, Ada felt a slight unease she couldn't place. Maybe it was just pre-wedding jitters, she thought. She glanced at Chika, her best friend and maid of honor, who stood beside her in a stunning emerald dress. Chika gave her a reassuring nod, though her eyes darted nervously. As the priest spoke, Ada barely heard him. She kept stealing glances at Femi, her soon-to-be husband. His smile looked perfect, but something about his stiff posture seemed off. Still, she brushed it aside. This was her dream day. Nothing could ruin it. Then the question came. If anyone has a reason why these two should not be joined in holy matrimony, speak now or forever hold your peace. The silence was deafening, stretching long enough for Ada to exhale. Then a voice she knew too well shattered everything. I do! Ada's head snapped toward Chika, disbelief painted on her face. Chika stepped forward, clutching her phone tightly. The room gasped. Ada's legs wobbled, her bouquet slipped from her hands, and she could feel her heart pounding violently in her chest. I'm sorry, Ada, Chika said, her voice shaky but determined. But you need to know the truth. Femi has been cheating with me. The church erupted in chaos. Ada felt like the ground beneath her had disappeared. Betrayal cut through her chest like a knife. Her best friend, her fiancé, the people she trusted the most had destroyed her. Femi tried to reach for her. Ada, I can explain. Don't touch me, she yelled, stepping back. Her voice cracked with the weight of her pain. Her mother rushed toward her, but Ada froze, rooted in disbelief. The perfect life she had envisioned crumbled before her eyes. Hello, besties. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe so you don't miss future episodes of this story of love, romance, heartbreak, betrayal, and friendship. Now let's get right into this beautiful story. 1 year earlier, a true life story unfolds. Just come out, Ada, I've said over the phone, practically begging her. You've been working non-stop. You need to relax. Ada sighed, staring at the piles of fabric and sketches littering her small studio. She had a deadline to meet, but Ife was persistent. Fine, 1 drink. She finally relented, packing up her things. That night, she found herself at a rooftop bar in Lekki. The Lagos skyline sparkled in the distance, and the warm breeze carried the sounds of laughter and music. Ada leaned against the railing, nursing her drink and wondering why she had even bothered to come. Not a fan of parties, a deep voice said behind her. She turned to see a man with an easy smile and piercing eyes. He was tall, well-dressed, and carried himself with a confidence that immediately drew her in. I'm more of a stay-home-and-read person, Ada replied, a small smile tugging at her lips. I'm Femi, he said, extending his hand. I'm Ada, she replied, shaking it. Their conversation flowed naturally, filled with laughter and shared stories. By the end of the night, Ada felt lighter, happier. Femi walked her to her car, and as they said their goodbyes, she couldn't help but feel that something special had begun. Femi didn't waste time. He called Ada the next day, asking her out for lunch. From then on, he was a constant presence in her life, dropping by her studio with snacks, sending good morning texts, and planning thoughtful dates. You're too good to be true, Ada joked one evening as they strolled along the beach. Maybe you're the one who's too good for me, Femi replied, holding her hand tightly. Ada's friends noticed the change in her. She smiled more, laughed more. Even Chika teased her about how Femi fever had taken over her life. But beneath her happiness, a small voice whispered, Is this too good to be true? Chika had been in Ada's life since university. They had gone through everything together, sleepless study nights, heartbreaks, and endless dreams about their futures. You're the sister I never had, Ada would often say, and Chika always responded with, ride or die. Ife, the joker of the group, was the glue that held their trio together. His energy and humor could brighten even the darkest days. Together, the three of them felt invincible. When Ada introduced Femi to her friends, Chica was welcoming, though her smile seemed a little forced. If, on the other hand, had been wary. "Just be careful, Ada," he had said. "He's charming, but charm doesn't always mean good." Ada brushed off his warning. She trusted her instincts, or so she thought. The first red flag appeared on a Saturday evening. Femi cancelled their dinner plans last minute, claiming he had a work emergency. Ada didn't think much of it until she saw a photo on social media of Femi at a bar with a group of women. When she confronted him, he laughed it off. "It's just networking, babe. You know how business is." Ada nodded, trying to believe him. But the unease lingered. Chica was always the first to call, to gossip, to check in. But lately she had become distant. She rarely joined their hangouts and barely replied to messages. "Are you okay?" Ada asked one afternoon. "Yeah, just work stress," Chica replied. Her tone clipped. Ada wanted to press further but decided against it. She didn't want to seem nosy. After all, Chica had always been there for her. It wasn't grand or extravagant, but it was perfect. On a rainy Friday evening, Femi showed up at Ada's apartment with her favorite suya and a ring. "I want to spend the rest of my life with you," he said, kneeling in her small, cozy living room. Ada cried as she said yes. In that moment, all her doubts melted away. She truly believed they were meant to be. Ada threw herself into wedding planning, determined to make the day unforgettable. Chica helped her pick out the perfect gown, and Eve handled the bachelorette party. But the closer the wedding day got, the more Ada noticed the cracks. Chica seemed stressed, avoiding eye contact whenever the wedding was discussed. Ife too seemed hesitant, often changing the subject when Femi's name came up. Ada ignored it all, convincing herself that she was overthinking. One evening, while working late at her studio, Ada's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Femi isn't who you think he is. Be careful." Her stomach tightened as she stared at the message. She showed it to Chica the next day, hoping for reassurance. "It's probably some jealous ex," Chica said quickly. "Don't let it get to you." But the seed of doubt had been planted. The week before the wedding, Ada found a hotel receipt in Femi's car. The date matched a night he had claimed to be working late. Her hands trembled as she confronted him. "Who were you with?" she demanded. Femi sighed, his usual confidence replaced by irritation. "It's not what you think," he said. But his excuses didn't add up. Ada felt her world cracking, the trust she had built slowly crumbling away. The week leading up to the wedding was supposed to be magical. But for Ada, it was anything but. She felt like a ghost, moving through the motions as the weight of unease grew heavier. The anonymous text still lingered in her mind. The strange tension between Femi and Chica gnawed at her, and Ife's warnings replayed in her head like a broken record. "Just a few more days," she whispered to herself in the quiet of her bedroom, staring at her wedding dress hanging by the window. It looked beautiful, like the future she'd once dreamed of, but something didn't feel right anymore. Her mother walked in, beaming. "Everything is almost ready, my daughter. You'll make the most beautiful bride." Ada forced a smile. "Thanks, Mama." But her chest felt tight, suffocating. 2 days before the wedding, Ife showed up at Ada's studio unannounced. "We need to talk," he said, his expression serious. Ada sighed. "Not now, Ife. I'm already stressed as it is." "No," he said firmly. "You need to hear this." He sat down, leaning forward. "I don't trust Femi, and I've been hearing things, whispers, rumors. You're my friend, Ada, and I don't want you walking into something that will break you." Ada's chest tightened. "Rumors? About what?" Ife hesitated, his jaw clenching. "About him and Chica." The words felt like a slap. Ada stared at him, her heart racing. "That's ridiculous. Chica would never. She's my best friend." Ife looked at her, his eyes full of pity. "Just be careful, Ada, please." On the morning of the wedding rehearsal, Ada met with Chica to finalize the last details. Chica seemed jumpy, avoiding eye contact and fumbling with her words. She thought about Femi's defensiveness, Chica's distance, and Ife's warnings. She wanted to believe in the love she and Femi shared, but the cracks were too big to ignore. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from Chica. "Tomorrow will be perfect, I promise." Ada stared at the screen, feeling a strange sense of foreboding. The wedding day arrived, bright and sunny. The house was buzzing with excitement as family members and friends gathered to get ready. Ada sat in front of the mirror as her makeup artist worked on her. She looked stunning, but her reflection felt like a stranger. "You look beautiful," her mother said, kissing her forehead. "Thanks, Mama," Ada whispered, her voice trembling. As she slipped into her dress, she felt the weight of the day pressing down on her. This is it, she thought. No turning back now. The church was breathtaking. Flowers lined the pews, and the choir's soft hymns filled the air. Ada clutched her father's arm as they walked down the aisle, her heart pounding. She glanced at Femi, who stood at the altar, looking every bit the perfect groom. Chica stood beside him as her maid of honor, her smile strained. Ada tried to focus on the moment, on the love she was supposed to feel, but the unease wouldn't go away. The ceremony began. The priest's voice was steady, solemn, as he led them through the vows. Ada forced herself to smile, to nod, to speak the words she had practiced. Then came the moment of truth. If anyone has a reason why these two should not be joined in holy matrimony, speak now or forever hold your peace. The room fell silent. Ada exhaled, relief washing over her. Then a voice broke through the stillness. "I do." The words hit her like a thunderclap. She turned to see Chica stepping forward, her face pale but determined. Gasps filled the room as Chica's words hung in the air. Ada stared at her, frozen in disbelief. "I'm sorry, Ada," Chica said, her voice shaking, "but you need to know the truth. Femi has been cheating. With me." The church erupted in chaos. Ada felt her legs give out, her bouquet slipping from her hands. Her father caught her before she fell, his face etched with shock. Femi stepped forward, reaching for her. "Ada, I can explain." "Don't touch me," she screamed, her voice breaking. Tears streamed down her face as the weight of betrayal crushed her. Her best friend, her fiancé. The people she trusted most had destroyed her. Ada didn't wait to hear their excuses. She turned and walked out of the church, her heart shattering with every step. Her mother ran after her, tears in her eyes. "My daughter, what will we do now?" "I don't know, Mama," Ada said, her voice hollow. "But I can't stay here." She got into a car and drove, not caring where she was going. The pain was unbearable, a deep, searing ache that made it hard to breathe. 2 months later, Ada sat in a quiet cafe, nursing a cup of tea. She had moved out of Lagos, needing space to heal. Her phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "We need to talk. I know things about Femi and Chica that you don't. Far more than what Chica told you. It's very important as your future entirely depends on it." Ada stared at the screen, her heart racing. Was this the closure she needed, or another twist in the nightmare? She hesitated, then replied, "Who is this?" The response came instantly. "Meet me at the park tomorrow. 3 p.m. You deserve to know the truth." Ada's pulse quickened. She wasn't sure she could handle more pain, but she had to find out. Subscribe so you don't miss part 2 of this story of love, romance, heartbreak, betrayal, and friendship.